Hello, everyone. I'm Sha, the writing and research half of the Tales and Oracle of 11. Some of you may know me as Little Cat on this channel. But for those who are new, hello, 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 and I hope you're having a great week, month, year, and beyond. In this session of Creator Chats, we don't spend a lot of time dissecting the art because there's just so much to say about tales and mythologies and whether or not many things are just fey propaganda. Without further ado, here's Yuma from Indonesia, where it feels like we're both just chatting over teas and cakes. Can you tell everybody on the internet who you are? Um, how would you like to be introduced and where they can find you on the internet?
Okay. So hi everyone on the internet. My name is Yuma. I go by Yuma usually. That's my pen name. I'm an illustrator. I'm a full-time illustrator right now at Florto Studio in Bali, Indonesia. Um, well, I already draw. I think since I was a kindergarten. I really like drawing since I was a kid. And I don't think I can do anything uh, as good as I draw.
I'm sure there's so many other things that you can do way better than so many other people, but I have to say that your art is so gorgeous. We'll talk about what
You,
you drew in a bit, and for the rest of you,
yeah.
there will be an image on the screen. How'd you find yourself in the arts?
I remember when I was a child, I asked my mother to like draw a big red flower for me, and she did, and it was so gorgeous. At least for me, when I was kid, it was so gorgeous that I said to myself, "Oh, I really want to draw. I really want to draw something beautiful like this." And that's kind of how I start doodling and drawing when I was kid. I get serious in art when I was in high school because in high school we were starting to like thinking about the future and what we will do as our job, and is not really a good choice for for the parents, but I was confident. I was confident I can make it in the art world. Yeah, so that's how I get serious in art.
Okay, like your mom drew the first flower that you ever
Yeah.
got, essentially. Does she have a background in art as well, or is she just naturally good?
She doesn't have any art background, but she likes to draw.
Mhm.
She told me that when she was a kid, she will like join a few drawing competition and she would won those competition, but she didn't pursue that art
Mhm.
passion of her.
Mhm. Mhm. Did you get a lot of pushback from your family when you said, "I'm gonna be an artist"? Because you know Asians, right? It's either doctor, lawyer,
Yeah.
engineer, accountant.
Well, I think I'm quite privileged because I have parents that support me. Like they don't necessarily think this is the best for me, but since like yeah I was kayak bilang ini serius aku. I seriously want to do this. I seriously want to do this for my living, and I will do it anyway.
This
And
is the way.
yeah, yeah, persistent.
I know how you
They
feel.
just support. Yeah,
This is
they're
such a they're the best. I agree. I
yeah,
like after a while also like you can't fight with your kids. Like if they want to do stuff, they're gonna do it anyway.
yeah.
It's like we're
I will
gonna
do
do it.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm so glad this is a field that you ended up in because that allowed me and Sun to be able to work with you for the project. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously, we are well introduced when it comes to oral folk tales. Like storytelling is something our families probably told us. Most of it is scary stories. Most of it is horror. It's like ghosts, which I don't
Yeah.
understand. Like our fixation with ghosts and bomos and things like that is so entrenched that even our fairy tales and nighttime stories that we tell to the kids, like, oh, you're going to sleep now, okay, read your ayats, read your verses before you sleep. But
Yeah.
also here's a story about a ghost that's gonna eat you if you don't do it properly. It's like, whoa, 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 I'm 6, let me go to sleep. um did you did you sort of How did you know your country's folk tales? You are Indonesian. I am very well aware that Indonesia is made out of so many different ethnic groups.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, I was introduced to like folk tales and fairy tales in general from my mother. She
hmm
likes to tell us bedtime stories, which are actually not very common in here. At least, from my friends, I heard that their mom doesn't do that,
Yeah,
so
my
it's not
mom never did
very
that.
common.
My mom,
But my
before I used to go to
Yes.
sleep, used to make me read out the times tables, like math.
Oh.
Like we had a poster next to each other. One poster was the ayat Quran, so you have the
Uh.
four calls, and then the next poster is like the six times tables.
Oh.
And that was my life at night. It's like, okay, do your six times table and then read the ayat and then go to sleep. Um,
Oh.
but yeah, so your mom told you stories, and it was something that most people sort of don't get to experience. What was that like, having to know all these tales and then go to school and be like, oh yeah, my mom told me a story about this, this, and this, and your friends like, I was watching cartoons.
Well, I don't quite remember actually, but I think I didn't get like to discuss a lot of the tales with my friend. Uh, uh, and actually, when I'm at elementary school,
hmm
there are a few like seller, uh, pedagang,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in front of
Merchants.
our school, and they
Uh-huh.
will sell like this small uh folk tales story, and we can buy it.
That is amazing. I never had that.
Yeah, it was quite popular
Uh-huh.
at my elementary school, at least. Um, and so I guess we just talk about that story together. Yeah, sometimes not just folk tales. They will sell like stories about hell. Like
Always.
if you do this, you will end up in hell, and you will have this punishment.
What was your favorite tale?
Growing up, I remember that I really like Thumbelina.
Why?
Yeah.
It is about a woman who is old and she doesn't have any children, and
Yes.
and then one day I don't know if she prayed or Thumbelina just happened. I don't remember.
Uh, what I remember is like this old lady praying to like a god, I
Uh-huh.
think, and they give her a barley seeds,
hmm
and she has to like plant it, and it blossom to flower, and Thumbelina is in the flower.
hmm I don't
Yeah.
remember if barleys have flowers.
Yeah, me too,
I'm
actually.
gonna Google it really quick. Barley flower. Because I also remember it does have flowers. It's beautiful little purple flowers. Okay, I am learned. I
We
am
learned
learned
something
today.
today.
Yeah. Because I remember watching Thumbelina, the cartoon movie. And she came
Oh,
out of like this beautiful tulip,
yeah, yeah.
and then she started making clothes and shoes. And I'm like, wow, that's okay, straight to work. Okay, let's do this.
I really like that tale because I always like fairies, like little beautiful creature. So when I was a kid, I envy Thumbelina. I want to live in a small world with flowers be so big
Right.
and sleeping in a like small roses.
Yeah, that idea of you are so tiny, everything is so big that you need less. You need less because everything
Yeah.
is just enough for you, I think. I think that's beautiful. But as a person, I don't know if I want to be that small because I have cats. And if you are tiny,
Yeah.
you're dead. Like you're out.
Yeah.
Um it is a very beautiful sentiment for somebody to appear because they are asked for by like the supreme deity or essentially fae propaganda. Like I know she probably prayed to a deity, but what it is the fae groves, the archfays were like, I like this old woman. She waters a lot of gardens. I'm gonna give her Thumbelina. Like Thumbelina came out. I can't remember if she knew her own name. Like who are you? The old lady said. Thumbelina's like Thumbelina. Like how do you? Okay,
I don't know. I heard that Faye just came to be and just know who they are. Maybe.
amazing, right? Like
Yeah.
the ability to just know who you are immediately upon waking up is such a strange thing. Also, it's this eternal habit of people to create children out of fruits and vegetables.
Right, yeah.
That is your favorite childhood tale from anywhere. What about your childhood tale from your country? Is it the one that you drew or is there a different one?
There's actually a different one.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently discovered this tale because I work on a children book
Uh-huh.
that involves this tale. It's about kemenyan tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what it's called in English. Let me just.
The it is the styrex tree resin that is Kumanyan.
Yeah.
It is part of
Uh,
the mangrove situation. We have that as well. So continue. What is going on with this
oh yeah.
Kumanyan?
So I don't know the title of this tale, but it's
Mm-hmm.
about uh where kemenyan tree comes from,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually from Batak, I think. At
Uh-huh.
least in Indonesia, the tale is from Batak.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think it's Sumatra. I don't, I'm not quite sure.
We will
I don't.
Google this, and then
Yeah,
a
okay.
bunch of words will come out at the bottom of the video to tell you exactly what where
Yeah.
it comes from if I find out.
The the tale goes that there is an old man with his only daughter, and they live a very poor life, so they don't have a lot of money, and then there is this like one rich guy want to marry the daughter, but the man doesn't want his daughter to marry this guy because he loves his daughter. Yeah, he loves his daughter so much. He can't just let go of his daughter for just any man just
Mm-hmm.
because he's rich.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good father right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he came home and he told that to his daughter, and his daughter is really sad. She cries and she cries, and as she walks into the forest, she cries, and then she she sings this particular songs that kind of touch the heart of the gods. And then one of the god helped her by turning her into kemenyan tree.
Oh.
Yeah. So and then the daughter that is now a kemenyan tree came visiting her father's dream. She visited her father's dream and told her to find this kemenyan tree in the forest and like harvest
The sap.
the essence, the
Yeah.
getah,
Yeah, the sap.
yeah, and sell it, and
Mhm.
so he can earn some money to like help his life, sort of like that. And yeah, the getah is her tears.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
so wild. It's like she runs
yeah, it's
away
what.
and then she turns into a tree. Like that is the best running away story. Like I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to turn into a tree. The tree rebellious stage.
I can't say for certain like, oh, this is kind of problematic. I'm afraid that I actually kind of forgot the details, and it's actually not like that.
Yeah, no. That is a problem. But because sometimes you read stuff so long ago, you make up stuff in your brain.
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
sometimes
okay.
I think people in the past already did that too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why sometimes we get different version of the same tales. Sometimes they're
Exactly.
like very different. I don't know which one is actually
Yeah,
the
so
correct one.
that was one of the things that I wanted to ask you. For example, we have so many similar ghosts in the Nusantara region. I wanted to know if within Indonesia itself, that was a story that traveled from um, west to east or east to west, and then it just changed slowly. Do you know?
I'm not sure about
Mm-hmm.
this, but I think there's one about Banaspati. Uh,
Banaspati.
I in Bali at least Banaspati is sometimes related to like Barong. Um, but I heard one time that in Kalimantan Banaspati is like this fireball
Hmm?
that just floats around.
Or like a
Well, we
spirit
have that too
thing?
in here, but we don't call it Banaspati like
Oh,
that.
okay. Okay, very
Yeah, I'm
interesting.
not quite sure though.
Okay, I'm gonna Google this. Can you tell me what barong is?
Oh, Barong is like the spirit of good. Like
Mm-hmm.
they represent kindness, anything like the good side of things.
Uh-huh.
While the opposite of Barong is Rangde. So it's actually related to Hindu, at
Mm-hmm.
least Balinese Hindu.
Uh-huh.
Barong and Rangde always like in an eternal fight. We believe that good and evil are always in eternal fight. There will be no winner
Mm-hmm.
to that
Yep.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. The balance, the scales must be balanced. If either
Uh,
one wins, then we all lose. Drama.
yeah. Even the good cannot like overcome the evil because that will ruin the balance.
Mm-hmm. 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 I totes agree. I feel like that
Mm.
that is a story that transcends countries. Like everybody has that kind of thing. Everybody has the balance of fates
Mm.
to sort of play with. We're now going to move towards your art, your beautiful piece of work. It's got such vibrant greens, and I love the pink hues and the shell made of gold. Can you give me like a too long didn't read version of this story?
So Keong Mas is a story about two sisters um that well there are these two sisters, Dewi Galuh and Chandra Kirana, and there is this prince that want to marry one of them, and he chose Chandra Kirana. Dewi Galuh is jealous, so she went to like an evil witch and asked the evil witch to turn her sister into something disgusting. She just said something disgusting. And then the witch turned her sister into this Keong Mas, so like golden snail. And Dewi Galuh throw her into the river. And then Chandra Kirana was picked up by an old lady, a kind but poor old lady. And because she never seen a beautiful snail, she just decided to keep it as like a pet, I guess, because she just kept the snail in her house. And every day, uh, the old lady will come home to like a table full of food, while there is no one that will cook for her at home.
Mm-hmm.
One day she gets very like yeah, she just wants to know who did this. So when she went to fishing, she actually didn't, and decided to stay and hide to see who is actually cooking for her all this time. And turns out it's the Keong Mas, it's the golden snail. When the old lady left, the Keong Mas turns into Chandra Kirana again, and she cooked. The old lady then asks, like, confront Chandra Kirana, and she explains her story, and then she turns back again into Keong Mas. And the prince is very loyal, so he didn't just left Chandra Kirana. He still searched for her, and got help from like an old man, I think. And yeah, long story short, they are reunited, and Chandra Kirana asked this old lady to live with her in the palace, while Dewi Galuh was going to be punished, but she was scared of the punishment, so she just flee into the forest. Yeah, that's kind of the end.
Like, it's so well. Okay,
Yeah,
essentially, it's two sisters being jealous of a guy. Never do that. Like, it's not worth
yeah,
being jealous over a
yeah.
guy.
It's not worth it. I mean, you're a
Um,
prince.
yeah, you're a
What?
prince. There's so many other guys. Come on.
Yeah,
Um, and your sisters. I mean, I understand some people are not nice to their siblings, but come on, man. Why?
yeah,
And the fact that she would stoop so low to turn her own sister into a snail. And
yeah.
Kirana is
Snail.
okay with it. She's just okay with this. She turns into a snail, she gets thrown into the river, and she's just like, well, I guess this is my life now. Like,
Yeah, she just cooks for the old lady. Yeah, this is my life. I'm a
that's
snail.
such a
I cook.
human that's such a human thing to do. To find something weird just randomly. Like, you're walking around, you're like, ah, this is a nice rock. It's my rock now. The old lady's like, oh, this is a weird snail. I will take it home. Like, what? That is such a weird thing to do. Like, it's like us and like cats and dogs. Like, ah, this is a cute cat.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take it home. Like, it's a snail. Like,
yeah.
I'm not
I
a fan
actually
of
kind
snails.
of relate to the old lady.
Do you like snails?
I actually grossed out by snails,
Uh
but
huh.
I want to be close to them. Like I want to be able to not feel grossed at them.
I understand. Like, we're like, okay, we can't do it, but we can tell a story about this other non-human creature. We can make it fey propaganda. I love that line. Like, the alam
Yeah,
bunyan in I don't know if it's the same in Indonesia. We call it alam bunyan, like the
alam
fey
bunya.
realm. Yeah. Do you have like a similar phrase?
Um, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Like dunia lain.
Dunia lain. Okay, fair, fair. It's just
Like
like
other
the other world.
underworld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bunian is more like fey creatures. It's I'm sure you have these stories as well because of Borneo Island kan. Um Stories about people going into the jungle and disappearing for 50 years and then coming back and then people are like, "Where have you been?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I just I just left. I was like away for a week. What are you talking about?" Also, I got married and they're like, "What do you mean you got married?" "Yeah, I have a family there." It's been 50 years. Like they disappear and just come back.
There are those sort of story, at least in Bali that I know. They are called Mumedi.
Uh-huh.
It's like, yeah, people always say, at least in Bali, people always say that Mumedi is a ghost. I think they are fairy because they like to kidnap people. Mumedi, and actually not just Mumedi, I guess just creature in general that lives in a tree, rock, or bushes.
Yeah.
They like to kind of invite children, or
Yeah.
yeah, mostly children. They will invite them and like play with them,
Uh-huh.
and the kid will feel as if it's just a few minutes or just a while, but it's actually 3 days or a week. It still happen right now,
Huh.
actually.
Like there's
Yeah,
still
sometimes
stories.
yeah, sometimes people go missing. Well, it's not really common around me, but uh, for people like in the village, sometimes people missing and come back a few days later.
Okay, real talk this time. Do you think it is actual fate or people just like lose track of time or they get kidnapped? Like let's let's go away from the supernatural and come back into real life. Like come back into the prime material plane where police exists and kidnappers exist. Like could it be people just kidnapping other people? Or they just run away to not talk to people, like introvert, like straight up, like I don't want to talk to you guys for 3 days. I'm just gonna pretend.
I mean, I guess it could be the reason, like real kidnappers and not a fairy. But I kind of do believe in fey creatures and mystical creature like
Uh-huh.
that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I sit in the middle because our region is so deep in this kind of mythology and we have black magic. Like do not
yeah,
mess with Southeast Asians, man. We have a strong
right.
history of like hexing you. Like if we don't like you, we are cursing you. There is no and if or buts. We're just gonna curse you. I sit in the middle of that because I'm a very highly skeptical person. When somebody says, "Oh, there's a ghost," I'm like, that's why. Why do they want to bother us, really? But at the same time, there has been instances where I'm at my grandma's house and I have come home a little bit late, and I'm going up the stairs and I see shadows at the side of my vision. But I turn around, there's nothing there. And I'm like, how do you explain
Yeah.
that? And I'm talking like between the hours of 12 to 3, the witching hour.
I don't know.
And then I sit there and I'm like, no, no. I'm a skeptic. I I don't know if I want to believe this or I don't want to believe this because if I believe it then it's it kind of legitimizes the stuff that we do as a culture. Like when you go into a hotel room. I don't know if you do this, but I do this. I knock on the door. And then when I go through, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be here for a while. Can you like go away? Like, just FYI,
I
I don't appreciate it. Like, you do that?
Yeah, I kind of did. Yeah. In Bali we have this saying Om Swastiastu.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, we always say that when we enter somewhere new. So I always do that when I enter like somewhere new, villa or hotel rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So as to I'm gonna be here for a few days. So I will really appreciate it if you don't bother me. I will just stay for a while. I will not take your place. Something like that. And we will kind of, at least this is, I think, Balinese Hindu culture.
Mm-hmm.
We will kind of give sweets or cigarettes or coffee, and we will put it somewhere in the room and just say like, "This is some cookie for you.
This is for you. Please
please,
don't hurt me.
please take our offering."
That is so interesting.
Yeah, I think a lot of the, at least children illustrator and children book writer, trying to kind of reintroduce
Mm-hmm.
our like folk tales or uh, kind of just like traditional stories, traditional aspect as well. Like uh, they they make us an original story sometimes too about like like how some tribe live in their like everyday life,
Mm-hmm.
like that. And the book that I also illustrate, the one about Kemenyan, is actually an original story.
Hmm.
But in that story, there is this telling of the Kemenyan tale. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
mm,
So it
a
becomes
lot
a
of
new mythology in a way. Because I would have to say that there's no such thing as a true original perfect story that started off where it is and ended up the same way. Every time we tell a story, it changes. This was an infinitely wonderful chat. I want to speak to you some more. I will definitely speak to you online, and I hope we keep in touch. Where can people find you on the internet to either commission you? Are you open for commissions? Do you do other illustration jobs other than what you're doing now?
okay, so people can find me on Instagram mostly at Yuma, and also on Behance, also Yuma, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, or Nata Yuma. Um, and yeah, sometimes I do commission, so I'm open for commission. Mostly I do illustration for my studio where I
Mhm.
work. But sometimes I also do like personal illustration or personal commission, like that. Yeah.
Okay. For everyone else, thank you so much for watching. Um, I will see you in the next interview and catch you later. Be good, be safe. Lots of love. Bye.